Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is slavery, the Bill of Rights, and the Constitution. And we're fortunate to have with us to talk about slavery, the Bill of Rights, and the Constitution, Alana McLaughlin. And I think that Alana probably is no stranger to the majority of our audience. She has been with us on many occasions. And Alana, let me not only welcome you to the show this morning, but to give you an opportunity to talk about your background, your education, and some of the things that were important in terms of bringing you to us this morning. And after that, we'll have an opportunity to get into the three topics that you explained to us, and that is slavery, the Bill of Rights, and the Constitution, and then we'll be able to develop this show from that perspective. Let's go with that.
Well, as you've already stated, my name is Alana McLaughlin. I was born August 27, 2002, and I currently attend John Early Museum Magnet School. I'm a sixth grader. I am involved in many extracurricular activities, which include debate, a step team, and even helping out with the children and youth ministry at my church.
So you've been involved. Go on, explain that.
And so mainly I'm really involved in church and the children and youth ministry. I help with acolyting and other things like that. In school, I'm also very involved. I have tutored other students, and I'm just a very helpful person. I mean, I really strive to help people.
And so you've been involved, and you've been on this show many occasions, and you've contributed very important points of information to us. And today you're talking about three different topics, I understand, and that is slavery, the Bill of Rights, and the Constitution, which includes the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments to the Constitution. Let's start off, because I think that we've said, and I think you've said on a number of occasions on this show, that slavery has a history of about 300 years in this country, and that up until 1865 it came to an end, and after 1865 there was another aspect of it. And so during this first part, let's talk about the institution of slavery in the United States.
Slavery. What do you think of when you hear that word? What do you think of?
I think of some 300 years in which Africans were enslaved in this country, and I think that when we talk about slavery, we're talking about slavery in the United States. Slavery existed in many other areas, but slavery in the United States for the most part.
Now that's what the average human, the average person would think when they hear slavery. Kids will think of picking cotton and other things, but slavery was much more than that. It was torture, being brutalized because you were African American, because of the color of your skin. It was being worked nearly to death, being out in the hot sun, being in the rain and the snow, all. But for what? Why were we enslaved? Because of what? The color of our skin. Because we were different. Because we were African American, and they didn't appreciate us being African American, so they were like, "Oh, hey, let's make them into slaves." And that's just what we became for 300 years. But for what? Over what? What did we ever do? Did we go to somebody and be like, "Oh, hey, let's make us into slaves"? No, we were chosen because we were what? We were different.
And being different, Africans were therefore slaves. Now, tell you, what about some of the specifics in reference to were slaves controlled under the institution of slavery?
Slaves, basically, they had no rights. All the rights that you had today, you have the right to walk down the street, you have the right to have a car, you have the right to speak your mind, have any type of religion you feel, but they didn't have that. They didn't have freedom. They couldn't control their own life. Somebody was controlling them, like they were puppets. The other people had to control them. They were not people. They were humans, and they were alive, barely alive. But I mean, we were not normal. We were not people. We were not treated as people. We were not fed like people are supposed to be fed. We were not people, and that's horrible, because I feel as if everybody should be treated as a person, because everybody, well, mainly like us, we're people. We may be different people, we may be different than some other people, but we're still people.
And so this institution, as we get ready for our first commercial break, this institution lasted for more than 300 years. And in 1865, I think we've indicated that it came to an end. And when it came to an end in 1865, then we will get into some aspects in terms of what you consider to be important in terms of slaves, because they did not have any Bill of Rights guarantees. And so when we come back, we're going to talk about the Bill of Rights and the institution of slavery and have you to deal with those two aspects. And we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break.